Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dissecting Fiction podcast. I'm Vinny Murphy,
I'm Christian Kotlik.
and today we have another bold prediction from Dissecting Fiction, or a couple, probably. We don't know. We don't exchange notes before this. It's natural. We just let it roll. We make our predictions, and then we comment on each other's predictions. It's really like having a conversation with us, and that's how we want you to feel. You're our family.
It keeps the spontaneity up.
Yeah, yeah. We don't plan anything. No, we do. We plan a lot, but these we don't really plan too much. We just kind of think of like, all right, what's going on and how do we feel about it? Do you want to lead off, Christian? Or you want me to lead off? See, spontaneous.
I'll lead off. So, Overwatch takes up a lot of space in my mind, for better and for worse. And my bold prediction is that I think Overwatch 2 is going to come out next year. They really, the franchise, the Overwatch franchise, I guess you would call it, really needs a shot in the arm. And Overwatch 2 has been teased last year. The Overwatch Grand Finals are coming up next week from where we're recording, which is the second weekend of October. And they're going to have the Grand Finals in Korea. And I'm expecting them to make some kind of announcement then, just to get the American fans excited about something. A lot of Overwatch content creators have pointed out that in recent times they have added very little extra content to the game. I mean, they've been adding characters and the characters have been changing the way the game's played and they've been adding new maps, but a lot of the maps have been really fucking awful and they've had to redesign them several different times. And recently they've announced, like maybe 6 months ago, that they will completely redesign them to make them like fun to play. And a lot of the characters that have come out, like some of them have been incredibly broken and unbalanced, and there's arguments as to why they do that. I know for League of Legends they do that so you buy the characters, but in Overwatch you don't buy characters, so nobody really knows why they do that for Overwatch. But and also when they've done events, they basically added nothing new to the seasonal events. We've had 4 years of the same game mode of Lucio Ball, and they changed nothing about it. They've added like maybe a new map or two, but that's about it. So I think they really need to show off something for Overwatch 2, and I'm hoping they do it at the Grand Finals. But my bigger prediction is that they will be releasing it next year. Originally, I was hoping they would do it at BlizzCon, but BlizzCon's been canceled this year. And among that, I also think they're looking to somehow expand the WoW franchise. I'm not sure how. They might be announcing a comic book soon, but they've releasing a new expansion content soon. They've adding a new expansion called Shadowlands. And usually when they do a new expansion, they add a bunch of content. I don't think it's going to be a TV show or anything, but I do think Activision is looking to make a WoW TV show or an Overwatch TV show, because that's what Riot Games is doing with League of Legends, and that's what a lot of these other companies are doing. And the only one that is not doing it is Blizzard.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Overwatch as far as gameplay things like that. Obviously it's a huge franchise. They have toys, backpacks, all sorts of merchandise. I think it probably is due for a huge update. A sequel would be that. I think you probably are right. Just a lot of announcements that were kind of expected for the next generation didn't really hit, and I have a feeling that has a lot to do with COVID-19. The normal venues have all kind of shifted around, and I'm sure there's lots of issues with production, things like that as well. They probably are a little slowed down in making those announcements, outside of Nintendo, who seem to be announcing something every like week now.
Yeah, Nintendo's been doing their own thing though.
It's funny, my bold prediction, completely unplanned, also has to do with the future of video games. As of the recording of this, we've gotten all the specs on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. They could not have made that easier to say. But I think we're about to see like something happening with Microsoft. There was that Nintendo deal that started last year where they're going to kind of support each other a little bit. in recent days, a lot of rumors have popped up about Sega being somehow involved in that. There have been rumors that popped up that were straight up Microsoft buying Sega. I don't know if I buy that. But a lot of the buzz is that Microsoft and Nintendo are like reaching out to some of the bigger names in video games and really aggressively pursuing exclusives. And because Microsoft and Nintendo have a deal, they're not really excluding each other. I think saying that they're trying to kill the PS5 is probably a little too strongly worded, but I think this is going to end up being kind of a big thing. I think we're going to see a lot of content go to Switch. There are rumors of something following Switch that'll be Switch compatible and Xbox Series X, as opposed to going to Sony as they seem to a lot this past generation.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's been weird because usually when there's a console war going on, the debate is usually around the console, but both of them are so similar in like the way they play that we've gotten to a point where you can't really get too much better with the graphics. And talking about the graphics is kind of pointless. I remember that was a big deal with the 360 and the PS3. But like with the PS4 and that generation, exclusives have really gone to the wayside. Like it used to be that Final Fantasy was exclusive to PlayStation, but now you can play it on Steam, you can play it on your PC, and something very similar has happened to Microsoft, in which a lot of their games have been playable on other systems as well. I think that has a lot to do with the popularity of Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. They kind of single-handedly killed the exclusive franchise in a way. And I think this is the proper move for these companies to take if they want to try to sell these pretty expensive consoles. You gotta have games that people want to play that are exclusive to your system. And the one that's been able to do that is Nintendo, because they have these franchises that people want to play, but like PlayStation and Xbox don't anymore. Like the last couple of Halo games have been, from what I've been heard and told, have been disappointing to Halo fans. And PlayStation doesn't really have that many exclusives. I think the last thing they had was Horizon Zero Dawn, which has been released onto PC now. And the only other exclusives they have are Metal Gear Solid, which is killed by Konami. It was murdered by them. And
it wasn't even exclusive in the last iteration.
Yeah, it wasn't even exclusive. You're right about that. Metal Gear Solid 5 was on PC as well. I forgot about that. But for a while there, Metal Gear Solid was exclusive to PlayStation.
Yeah, that broke, I think, the last generation. They changed that. I mean, the one that Sony is really pushing is Spider-Man for the PS5, the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. But it became very evident that it seems like it's more of just sort of an upkin version of the first game. Like,
yeah, it seems like they've taken a lot of the same models. I think they really expanded it into the Bronx, but it kind of seems like it's the same, very similar map, though.
Yeah, and it's also releasing on PS4 the same day, so I can't imagine it's a true like developed for PS5 game. Like the second I saw it, my first thought was like, this is an expansion pack that they gave them more funding on.
Right, and the only big move that has been recently now is Microsoft buying Bethesda. But even then, they haven't really announced any exclusives with that, which is very odd.
But it's an interesting spot for a lot of those franchises, though, because, Doom Eternal is now like in its DLC cycle, but Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are, very prominent. We did an entire episode on Doom that you can check out. Fallout 76 was like a huge disappointment, but now they can turn around and put out a Fallout 5. Whenever they like deceptively number things, I always think like, oh, okay, they knew this might not work.
Yeah, I know. I just think it's weird that these companies like Sony hasn't been really pursuing exclusives all that much, and Microsoft only seems recently interested in it because they kind of realize like they just have the Game Pass, they don't have anything else.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean, there's so much potential from the Bethesda franchises, and like you're saying, if they do get these deals with like Sega, there was a rumor about Konami floating around. There were rumors about Sony trying to get Capcom to go exclusive and Capcom telling them no. If, Nintendo and Microsoft are getting a lot of these bigger companies on board, even if they're not like 100% exclusive, but if they're working with them more directly, that could make the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, you kind of see that with the Spider-Man games right now.
All right. Well, those are our bold predictions. Let us know what you think about that in the comments. Obviously, like and share and subscribe and get notifications. Dude, you know what to do. I always feel like I hate talking about that stuff. If you want to follow us on social media, just type in Dissecting Fiction to pretty much all relevant social media. We'll pop up. Can't find it, type it into Google. I'm sure we will. You can find us many different places. In many different places, there are lots of private businesses, local businesses that need your support. Toy stores are one of them. Check out toystoreguide.com for that. But be sure to be patronizing all your local small businesses during these times. They certainly need your business. Businesses needing your business. I'm leaving that in. I'm not re-recording it. But any thoughts, Christian? Anything you want to say?
Hey guys, check out Undone by Blood by Lonnie Adler and Zach Thompson. It's an indie book. Apparently, it's only limited to 5 issues, but they are working on a sequel. But the book was recently picked up by Norman Reedus' production company, and they're going to be turning it into a TV show. And I was reading the book before it even got picked up because I'm a fan of the author, Lonnie Adler. And we also have an exclusive interview with Lonnie Adler on our podcast on the episode called Black Stars Above. So check out our Black Stars Above interview and check out the book Undone by Blood. It's cool.
Yeah, and Lonnie even talks a little bit about Undone by Blood in that. So if you're looking, for a little primer on that from the guy who wrote it, it's a good place to start. Outside of that, you can check out a lot of our other episodes. We do have some pertaining to video games, as that's what brought you to this one. But I'm Vinny Murphy.
I'm Christian Cutler.
And thanks for listening.